When I recently discovered a website called RetroAchievements, my mind filled with the possibilities of games to revisit. Earning achievements in childhood games is just as phenomenal as it sounds, and I recommend that you check it out if you haven't already. The website is free to join, and more classics are added daily by the wonderful community across loads of retro consoles and handhelds. I got the platinum in the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy on PS4 a good few years ago, but felt it only fitting to revisit the original game as it's one of 6 my parents bought for me and my brother back in 1997, alongside the original PlayStation when I was just 11 years old. The shift to 3D gaming truly blew my little mind and left a lifelong impression on me. Crash 1 is a game I love, but it frustrates the crap out of me too, with some levels testing me to breaking point. Crash Bandicoot on PS1 contains 46 achievements to master, netting players up to 460 hardcore points. I only play in hardcore mode without emulator features other than fast forward, so it's true to the original console, meaning loading save states, rewind and so on are strictly prohibited for my playthroughs. Although the original Crash on PS1 lacks the time trials of the PS4 remake, it does have different RA achievements and a few extra quirks, such as forcing the player to grab 3 Tawna tokens and to complete a bonus area to even save level progression. Cheers for that, Naughty Dog! If you grab a gem or a key, you can save at the end of the level, but without those precious Tawna tokens, you're going to have to redo levels all over again if you stop there. How 1997. Also, clear gems are only awarded by perfecting a level and smashing every crate without dying here, whereas the PS4 trilogy allowed you to die as much as you want on clear gem runs, provided you got to a checkpoint. Mercifully, in the original game, we are not required to destroy every box in the Tawna bonus levels, but the PS1 game is still more of a challenge than the remake and only has digital controls. There are lots of other differences, but the key focus today is on the journey to mastery and any nuggets of advice I can give you should you wish to do the same. So get ready to enjoy the fruits of my frustration as I take you through this rewarding cold hard classic. Crash 1's achievements are largely progression based, but there are a few fun exceptions, with a single missable achievement called Bandicoot Abuse, which we'll tackle later on, and several creative boss achievements that task you with defeating the bosses in certain ways. Diving straight into Insanity Beach always fills me with absolute joy, and it reminds me of how mind blown I was when I first played Project Sonic's ass. The level of detail is hugely impressive for the time and has bags of character. The jungle is densely packed with tropical trees and plants, ancient ruins, and of course, loads of wooden crates filled to the brim with Wumpa fruit. 3 easy achievements were up for grabs here, with the first being Rutabaga for becoming invincible after collecting 3 Aku Aku masks, unlocked by over 94% of players. While invincible after twatting some turtles, I needed to be pretty quick at taking the right path, reaching the exclamation crate and destroying the crate bridge as I crossed it without jumping. First tip, ensure you're on the left and away from the bridge until it appears, otherwise you risk the crate smashing too early. Do it right and you'll unlock iron boots. This then sets you up for the first clear gem. Grabbing all boxes here is easy with a little backtracking and preferably without falling to your death like I did here, forcing me to restart the level like a total div. Second time around, I managed to grab the first of many clear gems to unlock an easy start to a not-so-friendly adventure. I'll be telling you which clear gems you can't get yet on the way, as many of these require coloured gems which are unlocked later on. Jungle Rollers is the first of these we will return to later, but we grab our first 3 Tawna tokens and complete the bonus round to unlock Wait, but weren't you kidnapped? The Great Gate gives us our first mostly 2-dimensional level, and I'm having the time of my life smashing crates and obliterating the local wildlife. Next we head to Boulders for our first chase level and second clear gem. It's pretty easy, so I'll whip through. Just make sure to smash all the crates because boulder crushed crates don't count. 2 clear gems in and I unlocked Indiana Bandicoot, feeling confident and soaking in the nostalgia. As we enter upstream, words cannot express how dear Crash is to me, as my teenage years alone in my room with no friends and video games for company washed over me. I'm reminded of less fashionable times and a momentary lapse leads me to a second idiotic death, but the clear gem can't be gotten till later anyway. And with that, we're already at our first boss. Papu Papu has 2 achievements related to him, one for defeating him and another for doing it in less than 15 seconds. I'm pretty sure I did do it in less than 15 seconds, but for whatever reason I only got Papu Popped to go with his builder's crack, and so I quickly dispatched him again to unlock putting Papu Papu to sleep. Onto Rolling Stones, and I'd strongly advise getting the 3 embryo tokens and completing the bonus level here. The first one is hidden here, the second is here with the TNT crates needing to be avoided, and the third is at the end of Rolling Stones here. My confidence growing, I got ready to do this in one. That is, until I fell to my death like a total bell end on the first jump. Learning from my mistake, I wasted another couple of minutes running through jungle rollers again for this, my second attempt. What the f***? Thankfully, the third time's the charm, and here is my run. I held jump for the whole of the first bit, giving me extra height and using the metal crates to stop me going too far. After getting the extra lives, I timed my jump to destroy the middle crate and then quickly jumped up and over the next crate before the TNT exploded. Again, I held jump to give myself extra time to line up with the first of these 3 life crates. If you're bold, you can go for all 3, but I didn't risk it, ensuring I landed on the third, still holding jump to reach the end and unlock What Are You Doing in My Secret Mine? Feeling relieved and decidedly more chipper, we enter Hog Wild, which I completed in a single run. Honestly, as long as you plan for the fact that Crash turns on this level like an 18-wheeler with burst tyres, it's easy to do in one, ensuring that you end the level on the right to avoid this annoying local and unlocking I don't like where this is going. Native Fortress was a good point to get my next save, so I grabbed the Tawna tokens and banked my progress so far. We haven't got the red gem yet, so no perfect run needed, but I grabbed these easy lives by jumping at the right time to avoid being blown up. I also utilised this handy little shortcut and narrowly avoided burning my ass before finishing up the level. Up the creek is our next clear gem run and the first on the second island, so thankfully I did it in one. This level is a breeze provided jumps are timed to avoid the snapping plants. Be sure to backtrack after hitting the metal exclamation crate to grab a couple of crates that appeared back at the waterfall. 4 clear gems in the bag and I unlocked Gulp, Hulp. Onto Ripperoo and I hit my first minor sticking point in the game. Defeating Roo is fast and easy, but after unlocking Ripper Ruined, I had to do it again within 40 seconds. After around 10 minutes of failing this, I decided to nip to the loo, only I forgot to hit record again after. So here is me doing Ripperoo in under 40 seconds again. Doing so unlocks Jack the Ripper, which is thankfully very easy when you've got the timing down. Next up, we enter the Lost City, which is the first level with any real challenge. It's pretty lengthy and we can unlock a clear gem here straight away, provided we don't die, of course. I managed to clock up about 20 minutes of largely daft mistakes and do-overs here, but by this point I was pretty tired and was rushing, which is definitely a very bad idea on the harder levels of Crash. If I wasn't being obliterated by highly predictable bats or pushed to my death from timed walls which a 5-year-old could avoid, I was crashing into worryingly dark water. Small note, in real life bandicoots can swim, however in this case it doesn't fit in with the level design of the game. After my 5th run I was doing so well, only to screw up my jump onto this reptile, meaning I couldn't reach this levitating box. Another stupid mistake later and I took a 5-minute breather. Honestly, I think if I wasn't so tired I probably wouldn't have screwed this up so much, but I was just so damn determined to keep going at this point I kept going some more. Finally, after stupidly running into more bats, I restarted again for my final run. This time I got the timing right, dodged bats, jumped gaps, scaled the walls with a couple of minor hiccups and made it to the top level. Avoiding this red asshole, I continued on, taking my time to ensure that I didn't mess up. A few more moving walls later and I finally correctly timed my jump onto the reptile to grab the question mark box and then entered the late bonus round. After saving my game, I took on the latter stretches of the level, being very careful to time the second high up jump to hit this crate perfectly, which destroyed the 2 final crates in the background, unlocking Escape from the Temple, and I fist pumped the air in satisfaction. 4 clear gems and 1 coloured gem down, I'm at 32% done, and thankfully Temple Ruins didn't give me too much of a hard time. This time focusing on avoiding as many crates as possible for that missable achievement. I took one for the team early on, getting bitten by this snake, but dusted myself off and got much further on my second attempt, only until another snake caused Crash to somersault to his death once again. Fearing a repeat of the Lost Shitty, I gave it another go, this time performing well until I mistimed this jump, and this one. You get the idea. Finally, I got a perfect run. In Temple Ruins, you need to jump on top of every snake so as not to destroy the crate stacked behind them. Once you work out the right height for this, it's business as usual. You can grab the Aku Aku and checkpoint boxes, but you need to not die to access the end result screen, causing poor Crash to be crushed and Bandicoot Abuse to unlock for more than 50 boxes missed. With that out of the way, I had to do Temple Ruins all over again, this time grabbing every box without dying. The only thing of note here is to follow these floating Wumpa fruit across to some hidden platforms to a stack of crates that you'd otherwise miss. Temple Ruins perfected, I grabbed another clear gem, unlocking the Lost Ruins. Road to Nowhere is thankfully the much more tame sister to the High Road, a level of which the mere name of it causes me to break out in hives. Both levels feature these annoying warthogs which would be easily passed if it wasn't for the myriad of unstable, broken, or just plain missing altogether struts on this badly maintained bridge. Health and safety would have a field day on this one. Road to Nowhere requires requires a red gem path to get every crate, so we enter Boulder Dash, which requires a purple gem. Thankfully, it's another fairly straightforward level and we aren't going for perfection just yet. Sunset Vista. With a name like that, you'd be forgiven for expecting it to be a 4-star hotel with views in Turkey. But oh no. Not Sunset Vista. This absolute bastard took nearly an entire hour of my time to get right. It's not only so far the toughest level, but it's also the first of 2 levels which have special Cortex tokens which lead to another bonus round. Only with the Cortex bonus round complete can you obtain a key to unlock the first extra level whole hog. I must admit I underestimate how tough this game can be, and at points I wondered if my Steam Deck would even survive the journey. I managed to die in pretty much every way possible. With my sanity in tatters, about half an hour later, I stopped recording to take a break and regain some composure, for I feared my blood pressure may have risen to unhealthy levels. When I returned another good 10 minutes in and everything was going well. As I reached the second Cortex token, I gave myself a few seconds to watch the pattern so as not to screw it up. So up I went and then... Finally, I got everything right. The bottom section isn't too bad, so I sped through here. Honestly, things start to get harder as we ascend with lots of narrow moving platforms. Reaching the middle section, timing is everything as you pass by this section with moving walls, and on the final ascend, if you're lucky like me, you might have invincibility allowing you to pass by these stupid bats to reach yet another section of narrow platforms. Next, you're faced with another wonderful reptile leapfrog to reach the exclamation box and to activate these hidden crates, one of which contains the first Cortex token. A few more jumps and annoying bats later, and I'm back at the second Cortex token, though this time I managed to grab it and not fall to my death. My sphincter becoming more and more clenched as each moment passed. I navigated this perilous section with moving walls and platforms to reach yet more tiny platforms, only this time with crates on them, though thankfully my invincibility meant the crates exploded for me as I landed each jump. I studied the next sets of moving walls and platforms closely and managed to take my moment perfectly. This set of rotating platforms are also a royal pain in the ass as the jumps are particularly treacherous. A carefully timed leap to grab the life hovering as an indicator of more hidden crates, and I grabbed the final Cortex token to enter the bonus level. By this point, I'm pretty sure I could have probably crushed diamonds between my arse cheeks, so I took a brief moment to watch someone else complete the level and to refresh my memory for the task ahead. The trick to the Cortex bonus is to maximize your time in the air so as to avoid being blown up. Thankfully, the level is short, so here we go. Make a large jump followed by the biggest jump that you can manage, holding down the jump button to get extra hang time and reaching the TNT crate, but make sure that you release jump before you touch it so the next couple of hops can be done quickly. As soon as you're standing on the 5th crate, jump straight up to destroy the top box, giving you a path forward. Keep jump held down again as you again leap as far as you can go, reaching the 2nd or 3rd crate, then hop to the last wooden crate and jump as far as you can onto the next set of TNT crates. Holding jump for a big hop followed by 2 smaller quick hops, again landing on the last TNT to very quickly jump 3 times to smash 3 of the wooden boxes in front. Holding jump for extra height, ensure that you land on the metal crates and take another long leap to safety. With a sigh of relief, this unlocked Cortex's Crazed contest, giving me a brief respite. Back in the oh so wonderful Sunset Vista, I still had the last section to contend with, and even getting out from here can be tricky. A small hop slightly to the left and a couple of practice jumps and it was over. A quick Tawna bonus later, I started the final ascent. This section isn't too bad until the last few jumps before the final checkpoint. Finally, I planned to backtrack to stomp this red reptile, but for some reason he hit an invisible wall, so I had to boop him and front flip before reaching the final crates for the level. Honestly, at this point I was convinced that I'd probably fail on the last jump, but thankfully the gods were with me as I'd finally made it and got not only the key, but also the clear gem, netting me the gem of the middle. I was frankly ecstatic that this level was behind me. Entering Koala Kong, which sounds like it should be illegal, we reached the 3rd boss fight. This one needs to be done without jumping and without getting hit, which isn't so hard when you realize it's better to stand next to the TNT crates for as long as possible. 2 more achievements done with Never Skip a Leg Day and Koala Konked, and I checked my achievements to see that I was almost halfway there. Finally, we reached the 3rd island, and I was almost ready to start nabbing the rest of the coloured gems. Heavy Machinery certainly didn't feel too bad after the pure hell of Sunset Vista, and I managed to perfect the level on my first try. There's a small secret area down here that people often miss, and with that done, I confidently continued jumping pipes and hopping platforms until this happened, and I swear it practically gave Crash an orgasm. I even came close to beating this embryo bonus on my first try, which I'm guessing went so well as there was zero pressure to complete it. With the level bested, I unlocked Meavy Hachinery and was over halfway to completing the game. I zipped through Cortex Power because a blue gem is required there and reached my next coloured gem challenge, the generator room, with an orange gem up for grabs. It only took me a few failed attempts before I hit my perfect run, and without any major snags, I nabbed the gem while grabbing I am watching everything that you're doing. Toxic Waste is a fairly short level, but don't let the length deceive you, as it can be an absolute bitch. The first half is pretty easy, but the bouncing barrels can be a real pain as it's hard to judge how far away from crash they are. And after dying a few times, I managed to get the timing right to avoid the waste and grab the blue gem for Donkey Kong 3D. Pinstripe Patooey is the next boss, who poses little threat, and my aim was to defeat him without him charging his gun in the second phase more than 3 times. The trick with this one is getting in these 3 hits right at the beginning, and this is the only time he can be attacked repeatedly. The final 3 hits need to be in the gaps between his shooting, which unlocks no guns in my E-rated game, along with Pinstripe Patooey for simply defeating him. The High Road is our next challenge, presumably named because Naughty Dog had to be high to design it with this much difficulty. Funnily enough, the High Road only took me half an hour to perfect this time, which I'm putting down to some latent muscle memory from my youth. If you are absolutely perfect with your jumps, you can beat the level by running down the ropes, but I chose not to risk it. I fell to my death more than a few times here, including this wonderfully timed fail 10 minutes in where I literally fell at the last hurdle. Here we go, here we go. Ah! Persistence paid off though, and on my perfect run, it's important to head backwards before going forwards across to these hidden boxes. Things start off tame enough with these turtle shell hops that aren't so bad, followed by the gravity-defying warthogs, which are fairly easy to hop over. Most of the bigger jumps on the turtle shells require inertia to make, so don't be afraid to make a running jump where possible. It's also important to look ahead to the turtles in the distance, as it's often important to land before jumping on them, so you can time it to get an extra bit of length on your bounce. There isn't much more I can say about the rest of the jumps other than be prepared to practice and die prior to unlocking Javali's revenge for a single life run. Next up we have Slippery Climb, the sister level of which is so hard it was removed from the original game. Thankfully, Slippery Climb isn't too bad with a little practice. It's another level with rest points that should be utilised to break down the precise sections into smaller chunks. It's best to hold jump when landing on the vultures to get extra airtime, and I count in my head for the collapsing steps so I can jump before they reappear. With a few more nicely timed hops, we make it to the top and we start to encounter these little buggers, platforms that move horizontally in addition to rotating. The only advice I have here is to pay serious attention to the changing speed of the platform so you don't miss them like this. I favour the second to bottom step for the beginning of this section. Trust me when I say this took me a lot of childhood deaths to get right, so pay close attention to the timing. After a brief rest, the next bit isn't too bad until we reach this lovely bit after the embryo bonus. Jumping out from these alcoves requires patience, but thankfully the end of the level is near and we net the red gem, this time along with Rainy Towers. Nice! Onto Lights Out, and we can't get the clear gem yet. Thankfully it's a short level, so we're just passing through for now. I managed to slice up poor Crash and fell to my death here, but thankfully my next run was solid. Jaws of Darkness is a level that historically caused me a lot of frustration, but thankfully not today. Because we already scored the blue gem in Toxic Waste, we can grab the clear gem here, provided we don't expire. We also have the second Cortex key to obtain, so we can unlock the most annoying level in the game, Fumbling in the Dark. Everything was going so well. Filled with confidence, I hopped, skipped, and jumped my way through each section with ease. Avoiding the spike traps and no burn bottom today, I grabbed the first Cortex token. The next few jumps were a stretch, but landed effortlessly to grab the first Tawna token. Navigating the moving pillars with ease, I moved on to the blue gem path. Note that there is a hidden box up here out of view, so you need to jump straight up from the metal crates to smash it. I navigated each gem leap like a friggin' ballerina, living the good life with my invincibility. I felt like I'd activated Zen mode as I passed every challenge the game threw at me. Ending the gem path, I continued onwards without getting crushed or falling off. A few spike dodges later, and it's very important that you jump on this snake, because a spin will cause the snake to fly onto the crates behind, ruining your chances of the Cortex stage. 2 tokens down and onto the last one, accessed by another hidden pathway off to the left. Again, I momentarily paused to refresh my memory of the task ahead and was reminded that this bonus bonus is much harder than the previous. Suddenly, I was dogged by memories of me falling to my death 4, 5, 6 times in a row last time I attempted this, but my steely determination and perfect run so far spurred me on. 3 big hops up the first crates lands us on this TNT. The only way to avoid being destroyed is to wait as long as possible before jumping onto the right wooden crate and the one below it, then over to the left as the invisible crates appear. The next section is similar but even harder. We again hop the steps to the TNT crate and wait our turn, only this time the appearing boxes will be wooden, so get ready. Again, jump to the far right wooden crate and jump left as far as you can, and if you're lucky, you'll reach the metal crate safely. Next up, a mini hop followed by holding jump for 3 huge leaps to the right is the way to win, and you have to reach the last wooden crate as the final jump to safety is extremely long. Do not do what I've done in the past and forget to grab the key that appears either. With that, we nab Cortex's terrifying trial and return to finish the main level. Heading backwards to another set of hidden platforms allows us to return to the main path and grab the next Tawna token. With the Cortex key under my belt, I was sure that I could do this now, and I entered the Tawna stage to save my progress. Back in Jaws of Darkness, we're nearly done and just need to avoid being crushed by these final walls. A small hop over and we complete the stage to unlock our next clear gem and Toasty to reach 80% complete. Castle Machinery is a great level to farm some extra lives by taking the green gem path which skips the level too. Perfect if you load up a save as your lives are reset when you quit the game. We're ignoring it though and proceeding through this fairly average level. There's one point that will make or break any run, and that comes about halfway through here. Study the pattern of these boxes as they have to be destroyed pretty specifically in order to get every single one and not fall to your death. My chosen path was to jump as far to the right as possible to get rid of the highest crates first, to then jump back to the left hand side and take the rest out one by one, holding jump the entire time to give a little breathing space. With that done, passing the steam pipes is easy without getting hurt if you don't rush like I did. The last section can be a little tricky as we need to stick with these floating platforms while avoiding the scalding hot pipes, making nice big jumps to the end of the level and netting us so close but yet so far, and our 14th gem with only 12 remaining. Next up, we reach our penultimate boss with Nitrus Broken. Like all the other bosses, he doesn't pose too much of a threat, but the challenge here comes from being required to beat him without pressing up and without taking damage. The worst part for me was not getting hit by the green blobs, as taking on several at once while only moving horizontally isn't the easiest. On my first attempt, I got hit but unlocked Nitrus Broken anyway and spent another 10 minutes trying to do it damageless until I hit this run. I moved back a little at the start to give some more room and then tried to time my jumps to hit the green blob in the air, which allowed me to leap high and avoid being hit. Avoiding the purple exploding beakers is easy, just keep moving. With 3 hits left, Nitrus becomes huge, and at this point I waited for him to smash the ground before walking towards the screen but not too far, so I'd line up with the concrete block. Jumping onto the block is just a case of waiting until he's near you and then bopping him on the head. The first hit is actually the hardest, as this move towards you is much slower than the second or third time, and with the final hit I unlocked, crashed and smashed. And with that we reach the very last normal level, the lab. This stage is notable for not providing any Aku masks at all, so do what I did and go back to Insanity Beach as many times as necessary to grab the 2 quick masks before exiting the level and returning for the next attempt. Fast forwarding through the map makes this somewhat less frustrating. A quick tip is to jump off to the side when the floor disappears, giving you more time to prepare for the next bit. Trust me when I say you're gonna need those Aku masks to get through this one for the gem. My advice here is to try and jump over the yellow blobs as you encounter them and keep moving forward. There are lots of areas to rest, and most of the level isn't too bad until the latter half, where the timing becomes crucial here, and honestly I still mess this up a lot. We enter this horrendous bit with an exclamation box sandwiched between electricity and a yellow blob that will respawn to screw you up if you don't move forward quickly. This is followed by this horrendous door, crate, electric trap and disappearing floor all in one. Take your time with this one so you don't fall to your death, and definitely utilize that staying on the side trick I mentioned earlier. With that out of the way, we only have to contend with one more trap followed by some TNT crates across a huge ravine. Wonderful. To be fair, this isn't that bad, just take your time and land on the back TNT crate before lining up a proper jump, as hopping will probably lead to a painful death. And with that we have the yellow gem unlocking Tawna, wait for me, in the process. I'd like to say that's the hardest challenge out of the way, but if I did, I'd be lying. Thankfully, before attempting the pure hell of fumbling in the dark, we can knock off some pretty easy gems by retracing our steps. I started with lights out to grab the last coloured gem, which is supposed to be purple but honestly looks a bit pink to me. Around 2/3 of the way through, we take the newly accessible yellow gem path to grab the last few boxes and finish through a hidden exit for our purple coloured gem, and I can't see anything. A few quick and easy second playthroughs playthroughs now, starting with Jungle Rollers, which is identical to last time save for this small secret area accessed via the green gem path. I also noted how easy this level is when you've been through the triple torture of Sunset Vista, the High Road, and the lab already. After unlocking Jungle Japes, we return to the Great Gate. The yellow gem path appears at the very end and takes us even higher up the gate. Nothing is too tough here, thankfully, though for some reason I completely cocked up the initial climb. The rest is similar to before, but with more traps. They really wanted to keep someone out. Take a note of this second arrow crate you encounter, as there's a hidden path with a crate in it, lest you finish the level missing one annoying box. 90% complete, and we're flying now, unlocking Shield Attacker. Onto upstream now, and there's an orange gem path here with a hidden crate that needs to be carefully navigated, followed by another fairly straightforward to navigate gem path at the end of the level, awarding 2 more boxes. I'm not blue, but I can't swim either. Unlocks, and we're on to Rolling Stones. This one has a little blue gem path for 6 more boxes, and with that out of the way, we finish the stage to score our 20th gem and paper crash. Native Fortress is our final stage to finish the first island with this newly formed red gem path to the clouds. Thankfully, the clouds can take Crash's weight, and with a healthy stash of lives, we complete the stage to unlock I'm Out of Here. I took a much needed break for the night here and finished up my run the following day. Road to Nowhere was the next to be conquered. The gem path was changed slightly in the Insane trilogy, as it can be a little confusing. Before we reach there, I make this ever so slightly bell-ended jump, forcing me to restart. Thankfully, I best it on my second go, avoiding the gravity-defying warthog and accessing the red gem about halfway through. Go to the far right to touch the TNT crate before using the wooden crate on the left to jump and hit the exclamation box. Then, use the newly appeared wooden crate to jump up onto the cluster of metal crates. The middle one out of view is an exclamation crate, so jump like girls allowed in 2003 until it makes the crates behind appear, as well as the new TNT crate, which can be touched to destroy the pair. That's all of them here, so head back to the end of the level where another annoying section now lies. For some unknown reason, when the previous hidden wooden slats were in pairs, this one at the end of the level gem path is on its own, causing me to die and laugh to myself in despair. I can totally see why they changed this in the remake. So, back we go again through the entire level to hopefully not die by a frankly annoying design choice next time round. It turns out after the lone slat, the following invisible ones are in pairs, so jump across carefully to grab the hidden crates and make your way back to unlock. That sign won't stop me because I can't read. Boulder Dash actually gave me a bit of trouble because for some reason the purple gem path is lit up like a mid-2000s psytrance rave, and because of this I struggled with my depth perception on this bit. This path is at the very end of the level and make sure to jump on the up boxes to destroy the first 2 hidden crates off screen. Then be careful to jump on the perilous plant so as not to risk destroying the up box that's needed to smash the 2 Wumpa crates above. For reasons unknown, this took me 5 attempts to do before this one, unlocking I thought I got rid of you and leaving just 3 more gems. Next up I tackled the first extra level, Whole Hog. This one is similar to but harder than the first, and much to my surprise when I was practicing I did a perfect run. I thought as I died I'd have to return to the map, but seemingly as I started back at the beginning of the level it did count. It's important to hop onto the drums and hold jump to pass these massive gaps. Pass by the first 3 fast moving locals on the left, followed by the 4th on the right. Then jump high over the 5th, making sure to zigzag to smash every crate. Pass the 6th local on the right and grab the last few boxes to finish the level, unlocking gem 24, and here we go again. That leaves just Cortex Power and Fumbling in the Dark, both of which proved to be a royal pain in the arse. It seemed like I was almost intentionally bathing in toxic waste as I wasted nearly 25 minutes prior to this run. The trick with Cortex Power is knowing which direction to go in, as it features a fair few split paths. Undeterred by my prior calamities, I managed to screw up this section here before making the following run. From the start of the level you want to take the first right, followed by another right, and then finally up these steps to grab these boxes at the dead end. I hope you like going backwards, because here we go. Back to the fork and heading left, then back on ourselves, we take the blue gem path across the toxic gunk to grab this Aku Aku mask, then go back the way we came to finally head forward to the checkpoint. After navigating the electricity and hot pipes, we then head backwards to the left and along the other end of the blue gem path, treading cautiously. Keep heading backwards until you reach this bridge and carefully bop the last TNT crate to then head back the way we came to the central path. For some reason I got briefly stuck here, but nothing a little carefully timed hop didn't solve. After destroying these 2 boxes, we're left with everyone's favourite end of level feature, a bunch of wooden boxes packed tightly together in a bridge formation over the top of the deadly green sludge of doom. Thankfully, I just about scraped through here and destroyed the final boxes to finish up the level, grabbing the second to last gem and grabbing Cortex Got The Power in the process. As I headed on to Fumbling in the Dark, I felt a dark cloud of despair wash over me. Sure, I told myself, it could be like Jaws of Darkness and I could do it in one. More like Sunset Vista, I thought, and my prediction turned out absolutely right. You see, not only is fumbling in the dark an extremely long level, but as the name suggests, it's pitch black, meaning you have to have an Aku Aku mask to be able to see. If you lose that mask, you're basically playing blind and will almost certainly die. To top it off, the second half of the level starts throwing stupid hopping spider bastard trolls at you, which, if spin attacked, will almost certainly send them flying off into the distance, accidentally destroying a future Aku Aku mask and thus f***ing up the entire run. I'd advise being slow and careful if it wasn't for the fact that the Aku Aku mask only lights the way for a limited time, meaning you have to be pretty fast as well as deadly accurate. Deadly, indeed. Did I mention that I despise this level? It's the toughest in the game for me and took me just under an hour to finish. I died time and time and time again until I eventually got the rhythm for my perfect final gem run, and so my friends, here it is. The culmination of everything I had learned so far. With patience and determination, I actually did it, and at 3 AM no less. Begin the level by making these tricky jumps around the sides behind the level's beginning and make sure the last destroyed box is an Aku Aku one. The first set of jumps can be done at full pace and aren't so bad, just hold up on the controller and make sure to make big jumps holding the jump button down prior to landing each time. The first rest point is by this crate, which should only be destroyed when you're ready to leap to the moving metal platform in front. A few more big hops, and again you may have to pause before the next moving platform is close enough, but don't hang around as the platform can and will fall if you take too long. When the first moving platform is almost as far forward as it goes, use the momentum to jump and fling yourself forward to the next platform. Reaching the next mask on this carpet, timing is again key, so only destroy it when you're ready to leap for your life. Avoiding the first swinging blade, make a few easy jumps to land you at these rats, which by the way can always be spin attacked, unlike the spiders further on. The next jump can screw you up depending on timing, and again you can't wait too long or you'll be going in blind. Fling yourself forward like before to reach the next moving platform and Aku Aku mask. Destroy the crate before dodging the blades and spinning as you land to destroy the rats and swoop past the next trap. If you're lucky, you can continue straight and jump onto the following falling platforms, avoiding yet more peril in the process and jumping onto this narrow carpeted platform before avoiding another blade for your next break. The next bit is tough, so pay attention to the blade and small platforms. Destroy the Aku Aku mask and take a couple of steps forward, followed by a big hop onto the next tiny platform. Jump again straight away to reach the carpet and then make two smaller hops, tapping the jump button instead of holding it. Then on the third, take a step or two if you can before holding jump and praying you don't fall to your death as you make it to the next carpet. Jump onto the spider and back to the same place before making a small running hop followed by a longer one, holding down jump and avoiding the blade. Immediately make a small hop followed by another long jump holding the button down again. Hastily kill the two spiders, then destroy the crate when the blade is to the side and the moving platform starts to come back towards you. Another small hop when the platform is at its furthest with another long jump, and then immediately another to land on the little spider bitch who's waiting to screw you up. Time the next bit carefully and avoid the blades if you can with two small hops, unlike I did panicking there. Thankfully, I managed to reach the falling platform and make another hop to the next carpet. Pay attention to where I jump here if you do screw it up like I did, as there's a gap before the next mask. As soon as you land, smash the crate and a spider will come down on its web. Take a long jump with the button held down and another big jump still holding jump, being careful not to overshoot the next carpeted platform. Jump to the edge of the next platform and preferably jump on this spider as it's safer. I was on autopilot here and accidentally made the spider hit the next mask. Great. Take a long jump followed by a smaller hop to land on the wood, and then holding jump make your best move to make another smaller but not too small hop off the spider and onto the falling platform before taking a big jump to the next checkpoint, where I assume the mask I destroyed would have been. Carefully and quickly make a jump across and then onto or over the next little spider bitch and make a big jump to get ready for the torturous next section. Make a big jump onto the next spider and still holding jump another huge jump onto this platform you can't see as I've run out of time. As I couldn't see, I didn't spin attack the rats, but someone was watching over me as the rat only went and destroyed the next Aku Aku crate, meaning I narrowly avoided death. As soon as I could see again, I managed to jump back just in time to avoid this fall. Next, make a long running jump and avoid the swinging blade to make another long hop onto the next spider. My advice here is jump high, holding the jump button down the whole time, but don't jump too too far, otherwise you'll miss the next spider and mid-range jump to the following platform. Make a small hop, being careful not to overshoot, wait for the blades if you need to, and then make a huge jump followed by another long jump to the next tiny platform. Make another small hop followed by a long running jump to reach the faraway spider. Continue to hold down jump and land on the next spider, being careful again not to overshoot, followed by a very, very long held jump to reach the final falling platform. Make a final leap from this platform to the end. You don't need the extra hop I did, I just couldn't see what I was doing. And finally, we grab the last gem and feeling deserving of a triple vodka as we unlock my personal hardest achievement with Aku Aku Light's battery is not that high. Thank Christ for that. We now have just 3 achievements to go and on to the final showdown with Neo Cortex. This battle is pretty easy and requires you to beat him without getting hit for the second boss achievement this time. I think the run speaks for itself really. Avoid the purple and blue balls of energy and spin attack the green ones to deal damage to Cortex. In the third phase, the blue energy starts zigzagging up and down and can be a bit tricky to avoid. With that out of the way and 2 more easy phases to go, we avoid the purple and spin attack the green energy balls, followed by one final green energy ball to hit to win the game, unlocking both Cortex and Capacitated for defeating Cortex, along with Darn You Crash Bandicoot for taking no damage. After around 9.5 hours, we reach the final achievement for entering and passing the Great Hall with all gems unlocked, giving the player the secret ending. I won't spoil it here, but it's worth watching. A shining ending is our final achievement and Crash 1 is mastered. I hope this video entertained and helped in equal measure, and please consider liking and subscribing as it really helps me out. Until next time, happy retro achievement hunting!